Two, one.
We are all seeds in eternity, free to roam the galaxies.
All right, all right, all right. This is Georgia Grundy II, your favorite veteran, back again. And welcome to Out of the Mud INC. And this is Freedom of. This is the show that is not afraid to go deep into the rabbit hole and talk about different subjects to get people to thinking and having a conversation that's worth having. So I'm going to, it'd be great if I had the microphone on right next to me. So let me see what's going on. I'm like, why can't I hear myself? But such is life. There we are. I have a special guest today, and that special guest is going to be giving us a lot of information on a very serious topic. But I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself and tell us who you are.
My name is Elam Israel. My birth name is Willie D. Elzy Jr., born in the great city of Champions, Flint, Michigan.
So you're a Flintstone.
Yabba dabba doo.
All right. So tell us a little bit about where you grew up in Flint. What side of town did you grow up on?
Grew up on the north side. Would have been a wildcat.
So you would have been a Wildcat.
Yeah, would have been a wildcat.
I thought the song saying you should have been a Wildcat, but you switched it and said I would have been a Wildcat.
Yes, but I grew up right on York Street, right there on the border, uh, Carpenter Road. Learned a lot of skills out there. Learned a lot of skills. Wildcats are special creatures, and but we kept moving. All the basic domestic struggles of life. Divorce, separation, death, and a lot of different things that affect the our current youth today. Affected me, way back in the '60s. You know, you know, nothing new under the sun. We survive. You know, we have to be strong, and I can't really start anything without giving all praise to God, my Creator, who has many names, and He accepts any name, you know, uh, as long as we are honest and reverent and thoughtful when we call on Him. God is good and His mercy endures forever. You know, He has afforded us the opportunity to walk as free and righteous men in the earth if we so choose. My grandfather taught me a long time ago. He said, God is my boss and he'll be yours too if you let him. And that's how I come up. But I was a rebel. I tried to break every commandment there was and add a few to break. You know.
Okay, so where are your people from? What like your
Well,
parents
the
and things
roots,
like
the
that? Are
root.
you a first generation Flintstone, second generation? How does that work?
Well, my birth father, I'm a junior, came from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and my grandfather Eli, they arrived. They're in the U.S. Census in 1940. In Viking country on McClellan Street. So that's where my heart is. I'm a Viking. But we
Okay, okay.
we had to move. So but I started out in Viking country, Fifth Ward, proud.
Fifth forward.
You
There
know,
you go.
and we kept moving. Because life happens. Life happens. You got to deal with it, and we had to take care of ourselves. So we had to follow the money. On my mother's side of the family, uh, they're Austins. They come from Habachebe, Alabama. You know,
Habachebe, Alabama.
yeah, my grandfather William, he left there because at the time there was a struggle um, with right and wrong. We'll call it that. Struggle with right and wrong, and he wanted to be a man, so he came up north and entered a foundry. They let us work in the foundry, and and they're our cousins. We all one big happy family. But sometimes there's sibling rivalries. You know, and you win some, you lose some, but it's better to be peaceful and go where you can find peace and comfort and raise your family. So that's what my grandfather did. He come up here to raise his family, and they were on the St. John side. You know,
Okay, so you remember St. John.
of course,
All right. What do you remember the most about St. John?
Rhode Island. My grandfather had a little church, Temple of Divine Love and Life. I was a little altar boy then. That's when I was a good kid.
You say you were a good kid then. So okay, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. But St. John, tell us a little bit about St. John and your good memories of that.
Oh, yeah. We used to have the family reunions down by the river, down by the riverside. Big family. We had
down by the riverside. Down by the river. Let me hear you sing the song a little bit.
No.
I'm gonna lay down my burdens down by the riverside and carry this load no more.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Our cousins, we were scattered all over Flint, Genesee County, and when we got together, we had a good old time. I mean, in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, them Israelites were some partying people. When they had a festival, they was partying. I mean, from sun up to sundown, and we was doing it. We was imitating them. The term I use, Hebrew, is He, being God, created us, and Hebrews have good time.
Okay, gotcha.
Hebrews have good time.
So now let's go into. You said when you were a good child.
Yeah, once upon a time.
When you were a good child. So go into that transition and what do you mean? What happened? What was the thing that caused you to not be a good child?
Well, when you get a certain age, I get, you get what's called your second thought. A good kid listens to their parents and honor father and mother. And then you get that second thought. Well, they might not know what they're talking about. So I'm going to try a new system of things. And I started listening to a different voice. That little drummer. I started listening to that drummer. And it was really exciting too, especially when I was about 7. And by the time I was 8, I was dancing to a different beat. Totally different beat.
That's kind of young. You said 7 and 8. What was you doing at 7 and 8? What was going on there?
Well, I robbed my first train when I was 8.
Wait, hold up. Mr. Elam Israel. You said 8 years old, like 3 foot 9, 4 foot even.
I could carry the grapes and the bananas. I wasn't real big, but I could get a basket up the street.
At 8 and 9, or 7 and 8.
Well, I started training about 7. By the time I was 8, I was efficient by then.
Wow,
I was efficient.
So what got you into that? You said you took on a train.
Well, I didn't do it by myself. Dude, I couldn't even spell train back then.
As much as you can, explain it to me. As much without going too in depth of things that
We had a crew, and I had an older brother, and he would tell me what to do. And so I liked listening to my older brother. And then, you get popular if you produce. So, and the crew, I was fast, a little fella. I was fast, and I followed instructions. I was a good kid, and I knew how to follow orders. I learned that from when I was altar boy, I learned how to follow instructions. So I just changed leadership at an early age, and they were more exciting. You know, you sit in church, you know, you might shout hallelujah a couple times, but when we was running up the street and had cherries and apples and bananas and we had everything. I mean, we was eating good and you know climbing trees and we was doing all kind of stuff, playing Captain America, having apple fights with shields and stuff. You know, I got knocked out cold with an apple. You know, but hey, you know, it's all part of the territory.
Yeah, but how did that turn into to robbing trains?
That's just what we did. I was one of the targets was a train stop down on Industrial and Carpenter Road because the other front end of the train had to unload the cars at Pearson Road. So when it stopped to unload the cars, the fruit truck was right. I mean, the fruit car was at the end of the street, and somebody would get us. I didn't even know who gave the signal until last year, but you know, it was a science, you know. So
y'all was getting it for fruits, vegetables, and stuff like
yeah,
that.
free. Yeah,
So y'all just was eating some stuff.
we was just having a good time. You know, you know, our parents were working and everything, but we wanted to be independent. You know, we didn't bring it to the house. We was eating in the field.
So you didn't bring the spoils of war home?
Is you kidding me? Lord have mercy, Jesus. No, we ate on the run. We ate on the run. Yeah, we had a good time.
Okay, now fast forward. You started out at 7, 8 years old doing that. So give us a journey of your life and things that you went through and then accomplished and how you came through the mud and out of the mud.
Well, you know, let me see. Between 8 and 10 was extremely exciting. You know, robbing trains, stealing cars, breaking and entering. You know, that was exciting stuff. But one day, I had what's called courage. I went to steal a car, the model cars at Hutchison's store by myself,
Oh wow.
and I got caught.
Caught because of courage.
Oh man, I got caught.
Now, was you on that liquid courage when you was doing this?
No, I wasn't. We was drinking grape juice, but but when the man called me, he said, "Well, I'm gonna call your dad." Is you crazy? You gonna call my dad? Tell him you caught me stealing, right? No, take me to jail. Take me to jail. But he sweated me to about 4 o'clock because Daddy got off work. And if you ain't home when Daddy, either way you get it. So
you would have rather went to jail
hell yeah,
than faced your father.
Hell yeah. Tell my father you called me stealing. Oh Lord. Oh, mercy. I'm sweating just thinking about it. That was the longest walk of my life from Saginaw Street to I think that was Selby. That longest walk of my life. Because Dad didn't say nothing. He just took me by the hand and we started walking home. I didn't steal nothing for years after that whooping I got.
So that kind of straightened you out?
Yeah, he beat the devil out of me. Yeah, he sure did.
For a few years, huh?
I wouldn't pick a penny up off the ground. Yeah, he see it would have been child abuse today, but it was an iron cord. And I was trying to get away hanging on the box springs underneath the bed, but no, he didn't need but a little piece of meat. Yeah, that was.
So let's move forward. What else did you go through or do? And
well, after I got an attitude adjustment,
right.
I was honor roll student.
Oh, he beat you straight. He beat you all the way to the honor roll.
Yeah, I had a transformation in life.
Wow, that was a heck of a beating.
I was a good student then. Yeah, I was a good student. And graduated from Genesee Area Skills Center, house construction. I competed in the Flint carpentry contest, first place in the city of Flint.
Oh, wow.
Went to the state of Michigan, finished 13th in the state of Michigan.
In a carpenter contest?
Mm-hmm.
They used to have carpenter
I
contests.
I went to Mott Community College and got my journeyman's card. I graduated from high school, Flint Beecher, 73, 78.
Wait. You say you would have been a Wildcat. Your heart is a Viking, but you graduated a Buck.
I'm an amalgamation, man. I'm telling you. But I'm a Flintstone. Yeah, but that do.
There we go.
True to the call. But I excelled in a lot of things. I always stayed short. I didn't even start growing until I got out of high school. I loved basketball, and they was jumping out the gym then, and I couldn't get a rebound. I mean, I could dribble, shoot, but I couldn't get a rebound. You on the bench, you can't get a rebound. So so I tried wrestling and a few other things, but my heart always was a basketball player. But I went to General Motors, retired with 39 years.
You did 39 years in GM?
Yeah. I did 25 plus as a carpenter, and then Delphi split. And so I went back to GM. I had to give up my trade. So I worked on the line for a while, became team leader, excelled at that. I got a lot of honors. My dad, the one that changed the course of history of my life, he died when I was 13. And then my stepfather came on the scene, and he was a military man, loved the military, very detail oriented, disciplined, a man of great strength with great humility. And that's who I'm more like than anybody. Yeah.
Okay. So you've done some things. You've solidified some stable constructs of your life.
Started business twice. This is my second time in business. Successful both times. I had to go through the different phases of girl crazy, marriage, divorce. We used to say, or at least I did, I chased them girls till their feet smoked,
Oh, wow.
I might not know what to do when I caught one, but,
wow.
but I was going to chase it.
Listen,
It was competitive. I was competitive.
I hear you.
Yeah, I had fun, love education, art, science, music. If you from Flint, when I came up, we was doing some things. When I was a young man, Flint was jumping.
Yeah.
Until 68. Then everything, time stood still.
So that's when it stood still, when it started standing still to you.
Yeah, Malcolm, Martin, John F. K., Robert, and my father all died in 68.
Oh, wow. So that was a lot of traumatic stuff going on there.
Yep, that's when the rebel came back out.
Oh, wow. So things had hit you then.
Yeah,
So what happened? What did you do? Did you get back into crime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to, get some justice.
Okay.
So I became Robin Hood.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is when you get into the mud. This is when you really deep in the mud.
Yeah. Because Malcolm said by whatever means necessary. He was one of my mentors spiritually. Great man. My grandfather on my father's side took me to the mosque. And then my grandfather on my mother's side took me to the Christian church. So I had great balance, as far as education, as far as sacred writings and everything, and which made me a lethal weapon in communication. And then with my gang skills, I could pretty much do anything and get away with it.
Okay. So you have went through a few things. So going through that, And you retired from General Motors. Did you ever go to jail in between that time? That get caught up doing anything or?
Well, the my first prison was depression.
Your first prison was depression. Now explain that.
Um, I was on Coldwater Road and F Road, and on my way. I don't know whether on my way home from school. No, I was on my way home from school, and my father drove down Coldwater Road with his brother, and he waved at me, and I waved at him, and that was the last time I saw him alive. And
Take your time. Take your time. So even though it was those many years ago, it still affects you today, like it was yesterday.
it's certain pictures, you have memories, but that picture flashed, and that's pain. Uh, and
Now, if I may ask, if it's too much, then I understand. What did he pass from?
he's in a gunfight.
So from gun violence.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And
you were how old? 13.
Mm-hmm.
And how old are you now, if I may ask?
69.
You're 69 years old, and that happened at 13. But it's just like yesterday when you're dealing with it.
If I get a picture, that's pain. That's real pain.
So depression was your first prison.
Yeah, I call it a box. I had to learn how to, which I never did. Only recently I got the victory over it. But when someone you love hurts someone you love, what you gonna do? And that's what it was, because his brother killed him accidentally. But at 13, it didn't register that way.
It's just that your uncle had did something to your father.
Mm-hmm. It ruined my relationship with my brother. We were never close ever again.
With your brother, how did that happen? How did your uncle doing something ruin your relationship with your brother?
Because it was my father's brother that killed him accidentally. So
because it was his brother, that closeness with a brother kind of, he like, if I can't even trust my dad, couldn't trust his brother, how can I trust mine? Wow. Yeah. So you just took that on and took it literal in a sense.
As a 13-year-old, that was my concept and my prison that I couldn't get out for years.
Wow. Okay, I'm listening.
That was my beginning of mental health challenge.
So you saying that it created a mental health issue for you, as in, I understand the depression. So what else when it comes to mental health? What did it cause you to lash out or to
drinking, drugs, abuse of other people? It was really ugly. It got ugly fast because I didn't know how to deal with it. So I wanted to inflict pain on somebody else because I couldn't resolve in my mind what had happened, and I wanted to get the pain off me, so I'd give it to other people.
That's something else.
Mm-hmm. So, children today lash out because they. My grandfather told me when I was 8, he said, "Son, you got to learn how to deal with situations in life, and when you're unable to manage certain situations, we act out. And immature mind just acts out in any way that they think, and that's struggle for children and adults and everybody else. You get put under pressure, and pressure busts the pipe."
Gotcha. Now, off the subject question: do you have any children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many, if I may ask?
3.
Have 3 children.
Mm.
Now, do you think they were affected by your mental health issues or what you're telling me with your depression and stuff?
Neurotic. They're all neurotic.
Now, what is that? I don't.
Anytime there's harmony and balance is when you consistently make good decisions. A neurosis of some kind is when my first diagnosis was bipolar, which you're
So
up.
you end up, it goes even deeper. Not just you had an incident that happened that affected you, you end up getting diagnosed with something. Now, from 13 to when did you get diagnosed? How much time had passed with that?
Well, they couldn't catch me for a long time, so I was self-medicating,
Okay.
drinking, drugs.
So you were functionally depressed,
Yeah. Mhm.
without the proper assistance,
Medical care.
medical assistance and counseling.
Mm. I still accomplish a lot of things, uh, but when I was by myself, it was always black.
Mm.
I could get a book and master a book or sit in a class, but when class is out, I get in trouble.
So you can focus long enough.
In public, I could focus in
You
public.
put on a good mask.
I had many layers. I was a chameleon.
Hmm.
Great actor.
Now go back to the neurotic. What do you say?
Well, when in a family, leadership is important, and if at the top the leadership is dysfunctional, and the parents are fighting and struggling and all that, then the children are just byproducts. So mental health can be passed on, not genetically, but it's a behavioral trait also.
Say trauma begets trauma.
Normally, people in pain hurt the nearest, closest thing to them.
They say hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
These adages that have been put out. So from 13, how old were you when you actually got diagnosed? How old
It
were
was
you?
much. I mean,
You
I was in my like 30s before they caught me. I had a crash. I overdid drugs and alcohol, so I had to get evaluated. It took them 5 minutes to diagnose me as bipolar. I was so mad. You what? You gonna classify me as something? I didn't know what they was talking about, but my ego was extremely large, so you're not gonna put no label on me. So I resisted that with a passion.
I can imagine. Now, what is bipolar? What does that mean?
That means you just have manic episodes where you're really, you're doing 100 things at one time, and then depression is when you're moving like a turtle. So they have all kind of terms for behavior in the medical profession.
Now, do you agree with that?
Yes.
So you agree that
it took me a long time to accept that.
Wow.
Long time.
But you do say that is something that you have to live with.
Yeah. My doctor, he died recently. He helped me to understand that you have to manage your mental health. You can't get rid of it, but you have to manage it to be successful and have peace and harmony in your life and quit being a tornado in everybody else's life.
Mm. Okay. So you were in your 30s when you first got diagnosed.
When I got a piece of paper to diagnose.
When you got a piece of paper that diagnosed you. But you went through from 13 to your 30s. You know that you were very...
I know now. I was just during that time period, I was just doing whatever the hell I wanted and getting away with it.
And I'm assuming that these were some very heavy things that you were doing, and you were going all the way out, getting it done, whatever it was that you had to do.
I was I got a lot of terms for it, but it was a way for me to deal with life, is get it off me and give it to somebody else.
So, okay, now I'm sure you had associates and friends and things like that. Being that you were dealing with this trauma and that you were dealing with the idea of getting back what you lost or getting somebody feeling something, was it simple or easy for those in authority that you respected to say, hey, look, I got some pain that you can unleash on somebody, and because you wanted to give pain, was it simple for you to say, okay,
Can't answer that.
okay, understood. So going to the mental health thing. So that's the whole reason. So bringing it into perspective, that's why we are even sitting here
Mental health is a challenge.
having this conversation. So we ran across each other and we started talking. And I know Mr. Willie because we smoke cigars together here and there. And this is why I'm sharing it across the different platforms, because mental health in our community, especially as men, especially as men of color, especially as black men, is a serious thing that we don't speak about. You just heard Mr. Israel say that from 13 to 69, he has been dealing with mental health issues. The man's not, he ain't cuckoo. He just has issues. If you challenge him, he might go cuckoo on you because you all in his space, all in his face. But these things are serious. Depression. He lost his father. The space in which he probably went many years that he didn't speak to anybody about any of this. So this is a very serious thing because I deal with it myself. I've been in the cuckoo house because I went cuckoo over some things. Now the trauma is different from Mr. Willie's. Some stuff I hadn't even been able to address with my time in service, with my time in Afghanistan, and smells and sounds and
triggers
and triggers. So it's a real thing. We can be as positive as we want to be, but we have to address the reality in which we live in order for us to be able to find that positive line. Because if you don't even know what you're looking for or how to get there or how to get out of that mind state of or that trap you in, then it's difficult to find the positive in things. You're always going to have a wall up. You're always going to have barriers. You're always going to have resistance to people that want to do and help. So
for years, I thought my behavior was normal. Yeah, for years, I thought it was, like Sammy Davis Jr. I just did it my way. I thought it was normal and acceptable if you could get away with it, and my way to justify it was I'm just having fun or pleasure, but it was twisted. It was all twisted. I learned that by after I got finally diagnosed and I quit fighting with the medical profession and started listening. I found out they were good, kind-hearted people that cared, and they had uh, systems and formulas and medication and things to slow me down enough to actually compare my life with a normal person. And I said, dang, that's what normal people do. And it was kind of a shock. I mean, in the world, a person dealing with mental health issues can achieve a lot of things in the naturals arena, but they're raging bulls and psychotic and all kind of things behind the scenes. And I do a lot of reading, so it don't surprise me when there's a Jeffrey Dahmer or other personality disorders that pop up, because they're processing a set of feelings in a bizarre way, but to them it's normal.
that's an extreme case to look at.
Mm-hmm. We got to remember that we're all God's children and we all have some kind of weakness or kink in our armor in our behavior. That's why we need to educate ourselves, grow, study religious material, go to church or whatever, and produce the best possible citizen and father, mother, or leader in the community.
Understood. Understood. So explain what it's like dealing what would be your explanation to, if you were telling somebody what depression looks like to you? Given a description of what depression is and what it looks like?
My bedroom was approximately 10 steps from the bathroom, and I couldn't make it. I could not get across the hallway because of panic attack. Sheer lockdown, frozen your steps, cannot move 10 steps. And there's different degrees of depression and anxiety. And when I first attempted to deal with some of the things that I had done and justified in my life, I was paralyzed by the pain, depression, guilt, uh, and I was in a prison. I couldn't get out. Thank God for family and the medical profession. Uh, Dr. Abraham Lowe out of Chicago had Recovery Incorporated, and I started going to classes. And he talked about endorsing yourself. If you can put one foot in front of the other, pat yourself on the back when you're really depressed. And
Yeah, I can relate to that. I never wanted to accept. My biggest fear is fear. I hate being afraid of anything.
that's
So
when
if someone
people gets hurt.
if someone
Somebody
or
gets
something
hurt.
tries to put me in a space of fear, then
Somebody getting
that's when
hurt.
you put yourself in danger, because I may not show that I'm upset, I may not show that I'm aggressive, but when you putting me in a space to where you're telling me I have to fear you or I have to fear a situation, that's not safe.
For either one of them.
Right. But as far as the anxiety itself, I was with family. It was at a birthday party. And I walk in, and a cousin that was from out of town screamed my name and said, "Hey, cousin." And instantly it was like the room just got extra big, like
that sound.
And I'm standing there and I just start sweating inside my body, and I'm like paralyzed mentally, but I gotta still smile and wave and talk and all this other, and my heart's racing, and I'm like, what is this? Now, I've had anxiety attacks before, but I could explain them. I know why they happen. I could see it coming. I was trying to brace myself, but this was like just out of nowhere, being around family. Like you were saying, you at home by yourself and you can't even move. I've been in those spaces, man. I won't get off the couch or for a week, because it's just I don't. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't even want to wake up.
In January of 2019, the man who had raised me, trained me, loved me unconditionally, and helped me grow into a better man, he died. And that pain, I thought I could endure some pain, but that was more than my mind could handle. That's when I had what's called a complete break. I couldn't tie my own shoes.
Really?
I lost it. It was just, you're talking about blackness and loss of consciousness. Just I detached from the planet.
No, Mr. Israel, you don't. I've never seen you look or seem like a weak person, like a man that would take too many losses, or
that was
would be someone that would just cry over anything.
That was a sucker, but I didn't see that one go.
But I'm saying that's the thing. Even though you've had some hard moments in life and you've done some things that were that questionable, it's just how things that can't even affect you physically can get through all of that armor, all of those walls, all of that stuff, crush you as a human being.
Crushed. Spirit broke, crushed.
Like
Right.
somebody can hold a gun to you and you ain't even afraid of it, but you hear something or somebody say something or you get triggered by something and you just
I didn't know what love. I didn't know that level of love, and that happened over 50+ years of him loving me unconditionally. Children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. He was always there. He was always there, and then all of a sudden he wasn't there.
so explain
Yeah,
what.
I can't explain. I
No,
didn't.
no, no,
I
no.
didn't know what happened.
I'm saying to people, to men, to grown men that you know that some of the some of the hardest nosed folks that don't talk to folks. Tell me what would you suggest? What is it the
You see,
message?
you have to get outside help, but you have to accept that you need help. Everybody. There used to be a song. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. If you're humble enough to admit you don't know what parenting is or how to be a husband or whatever, you start listening to people. When I was young, I was listening to the wrong people. They was telling me abusive things, and then I finally started with the appearance of my stepfather. Started trusting and listening to somebody who knew what the heck they was talking about. you know, and he never failed me. Give you an example, kind of man he was. When he came into our household to be the man of the house, me and my brother jumped him,
What?
and I held him, and my brother hit, and he forgave me for that.
That's wild. So you telling me your mama got a new boyfriend and she was like, look, this is my new beau. Now y'all treat him right. And he was like, okay, mama. And when she turned her head, y'all jumped him in and told him to go on somewhere. And he stayed.
That was after Mama stomped my brother into the concrete floor in the basement.
But he still stayed.
Yeah, he loved my mother. He loved all five of us. Yeah.
So that's a whole different story. Hopefully y'all can get you to come back. Cause I that's a whole different thing. I don't see myself. I don't see myself ever helping to raise anybody else's children that ain't mine ever again in my life. I didn't help raise some children, and when the relationships are going their way, it's torture. It's been torture to me, and I'm like, questioning everything. Now I love the children, love the relationship that I have with the children, but all those things get stressful and change. And I done had, you ain't my dad, but I ain't never had no kid try to y'all was on something else. Y'all was on a whole nother level, Mr. Israel. Y'all was on a whole nother level. And
Yeah, I had a unique child.
I see you beat your mama boyfriend up and he came back. Your mama had to be a great woman. Super great.
He was a great man.
She could cook real good.
He was a great man.
Y'all,
but he loved my
y'all
mom.
had Thanksgiving every day, did y'all? Because he came back. That's something else.
Yeah, nobody knows what I went through and how much I love my stepdad.
That's something else, man.
Yeah, he forgave.
Yeah, that's something.
And
else.
then trained me, and took time with me and everything. That's why when he died, it was.
Wow. Now, did he have any children of his own?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Wow. Now, I don't want to push you too far, so just give us what we're gonna cut this and
yeah.
just,
Well, what I want to say, if I can leave somebody,
leave us with
the medicine has progressed so much in the last 30 years. There are many. The average mental health patient, the doctors will literally find something that works for them. They will feel better and stop taking the medicine, and then they'll have an episode. and then they're in and out of the institutions. And then military personnel, some people never recover from the trauma of conflict. And, but I think every person deserves respect as an individual. They're doing the best they can. They might talk to trees and whatever, but he's still a man made in the image and likeness of God
Or a woman.
or woman. Treat them right, and I guarantee you, kindness can break any curse, and it will be just as good for you as it is for them. Be kind, loving, and compassionate. That's what makes the world go round.
I appreciate that. The series. What I want to add to is like for me, when it came to the medication, it made me feel like a ghost, like a shadow of myself.
Medicine is not an exact science. Sometimes they have to, work with it, and everybody's body chemistry is different. But patience is a virtue. I mean, it is better for me to be on medication than off. Okay. I haven't had any side effects of what I use now, but it took them a while. I had to go through a lot of series of trial and error and spooky feelings and uncomfortability.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But the problem was, as my illness progressed, and it's progressive, um, the things I was doing was going to get me locked up permanently. So I had to make a decision. Okay. Do I want to be a free man, or do I want to challenge myself and adjust my body and diet and everything until we find something that works on a regular basis?
Understood. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you fighting the fight and being man enough to be able to have this conversation in front of whoever's looking and watching, and being able to express and articulate what it is to go through those things.
It's a struggle, but men were born for that, and women. Remember, Eve came out of that. He was complete. Eve came out of Adam. So greatness is in both male and female species, and we're eternal beings. To God be the glory. Conquer the universe.
All right. So we're gonna cut it with that. This is George of Grundy II, and this has been an episode of Freedom of Peace.